Hi, I'm Mark. Welcome back to Fiddle Paint Fabrication. Well guys, I thought I was a lot further along than I was, but this guide coating has really shown some imperfections in my work, my previous work, so I've had to backtrack a little bit. It's been 2 years since we really got to work on this car, and I thought I would be farther along than I am, but we're getting there little by little. I had to redo some spots around these sail panels. The filler panel needed more work than I thought it did, even though I thought we had already fixed all that. But the guide coating really shows it. So let me finish up what I got going on back here, get that out of the way. Then we're gonna move over to that deck lid, and we got a little fine tuning still to go on that, even though I thought I had it straight. So I'll bring you right back in a minute and we'll take a quick tour. All right, let's see what I've been up to here. So I did a little filling on the tail light panel and it's looking pretty good, thankfully. We had a little low spot here, filled that, blocked it out, and this was kind of wavy right through here. I had to fill it like 2 or 3 times because it just looked like a small low spot, and then I filled that and then it just didn't get far enough, so I had to go over it again and block it again, but I think we're looking pretty good. Blocked out the deck lid, and then I needed to get to the filler panel, so Trish helped me remove that. Got up on here and I thought, oh, this is going to be easy peasy, just block sand that out, guide coat it, it's going to be sweet. Nope, we got filling over here, over here, over here, and we've got a couple of low spots showing right here and some steel, so I think another coat of primer will take that. I don't think that needs filling, but we had quite a bit of filling over here, as you can see. So you can see I got the window molding in there. I'm trying to make sure the fit, when it's in place, I got some blocks, simulating the glass. But trying to get this in this tight area around those pins was no fun. And I even had to rework some of this here because it was a little low, just like the other side. Now, the other side, it took some work as well. You guys remember we were low on the top of the quarter panel right here, so we've got some filler on there to get that body line up. It had a low spot there. We got that filled, and of course we're filling in here. And getting these moldings to fit just right down inside these little spots is not easy. And you're thinking, well, I just bend that molding a little bit, but you can only tweak it so much. You're going to kink it or destroy it. So there comes a point where you have to stop. Otherwise, you're just going to shoot yourself right in the foot. But we're looking pretty good up in there finally. I did work the sail panels on the outside. You can see some extra filler where I sanded through here, added some here, and up here on the drip edge. Now, if you're at a car show and you're looking down a guy's car right here, and if it's puckered and a little wavy, he didn't put as much time in as he could have, and I don't want to be that guy. So I tapped some spots down, I sanded it, filled it, and I think we're looking pretty good. I sanded it over far enough so I could put a nice coat of primer on there and we can block it out again. I did both sides. Now, last video, when I was sanding this door, I was using bad technique. And one of you guys called me out on it, said, hey, right where your hands are, you're sanding way more, and he was right. And I appreciate that, guys. Don't think I don't. You guys call me out on it, help me out. The more eyes on this build, the better. So what was happening was I was using the really long block, and you can only support it so much. And these Dura blocks are pretty stiff, but they're not, stiff like a board. So what I did was I switched over after I saw myself doing that in editing, when I was editing the video. And what I did was I just doubled up the blocks, see, just like that. So I put my 24 on top of the 30, and so I could put my hand here and here, and this one distributes the load, and then now it becomes a really nice block. It'll still flex a little bit, which a lot of these panels have a slight curve to them, so sometimes you need a little bit of flex, but not too much. So I went over this again, and it was actually high right where my hands were, but that was just coincidence. It was still bad technique. I do have a linear block coming, and interestingly enough, it cost almost as much as all of my Dura blocks combined, all of them. So those things are they're crazy expensive. It better almost sand the car by itself when it gets here. So we're looking pretty good. Except this deck lid, I thought we had it pretty good, but as you can see right here, we've got some guide coat. This lip kind of rolls off a little bit. So let me put the camera down and I'll show you how we're going to get that back up a little bit and try to get that nice and straight and smooth across there. All right, this deck lid is looking pretty good overall. We've got some steel showing through here and there where I've been blocking, trying to get these edges up, and obviously I'm running out of room, so I have to do something or add more material. So we bumped this up pretty good when it was on the car on the edges on both sides. And the back edge looked pretty straight, and it is straight, don't get me wrong, but it's just not perfect, you know, or good as I can get it. So if you guys look, you can see the guide coat. See how it wanders in and out like this. So that means that blocking over from here, this is a little higher, that's a little lower, so it's actually going up and down ever so slightly. I mean, we're talking nothing really, but I don't want to look down this thing when it's done and nice and shiny and see a little tiny wave in that, so we're going to do what we can to straighten it out. So we're using a 24-inch block. We're coming in from the side like this, and it's really not hitting right through here. So we're going to go back to the rubber mallet. I got some tape on here to protect it, and we're going to take the block and we're going to hold it out here. So if you see right here, it stops right here. So I want to kind of hold a little pressure down, and we're not really wailing on this thing. I'm kind of just bouncing it off. And anywhere where it, you know, came kind of farther out, I'll go ahead and go over it twice. And then we'll just sand again. While we're sanding, we're looking for that line to go in, knowing we've made some progress. Okay, so you noticed, I don't know if you guys can tell, but they did get smaller a little bit. This one needs some more work, and there's a few spots over here where it's just starting to catch on the edge. That means that lip is rolling up a little bit, and then we're going to end up with a little trough right here. No big deal, the primer will fill it, but that's what we need to do. So this needs a little more tapping, and we just need to kind of work it all the way down. I already did the sides, so we really just need to finish this up. All right, so it's noticeably smaller than it was just a moment ago. We've got a little spot right here. This is now touching all the way through. It's more orange peel showing. This rolls off a little more steep, but we're starting to get them closer and closer to the edge, and that's kind of what I have on the sides, where it's just going to need another coat of epoxy and a little more sanding. So let me finish this up. I'll bring you back. We'll take a look at it when it's done. All right, guys, that's about as far as we can get. We got a lot of steel starting to poke through, so we need to stop. You can see right here, I did a little filling right here, right where it changes directions. Got that looking pretty good. So we got some steel showing. You can see it shining, and we've just got a little hint right on the very edge where it just rolls over super fast. So I think we're looking pretty good. Little steel showing here, little low spot there. This spot was starting to get bigger and bigger, so I knew I had to stop for sure. But we got that bumped up pretty good, a little bit spot here, but all in all, I'm really happy. I thought the thing was straighter, but you know, this guide coat, it really shows everything, and that's the whole idea, you know, show you what you got, and then you decide how far you need to go. I mean, I could have switched to a 12-inch block and blocked this whole thing, and all this would have come out. So it all depends on, you know, what you're going for. We got a little spot right there, but we got two high spots on each side. I tried to bump it 2 or 3 times, and it didn't want to come. We're going to have to spray some more primer right there. But we're looking really good overall on the deck lid. Pretty happy with that. All right, we're spraying primer, but we got a little ways to go before we can do that. So I'm going to probably sand the whole car with some 100 grit just to make sure everything's sanded, and take some of the sand scratches out from the 80 grit, and just make sure all the dry guide coat's off and everything's scuffed. But then we've still got a lot more prep work to do, because I got to sand inside the trunk lip right here, because we're going to mask it over, and just make sure everything's touched that's going to get a coat or 2 coats of primer. So let me get on that, and I'll bring you back when we're done masking and just about ready to spray. All right, guys, several hours later, when the deck lid is ready to go, I got the underside masked. The car has been sanded with 100 grit and scuffed with a 150 grit Scotch-Brite pad or scuff pad. They're actually Duragolds, but we're looking pretty good. I ran out of tape. I had to scrounge up every crappy roll of tape I have to try to finish this off. Some of it's not holding so well, but I think we'll be okay. We got a little bit of a problem though. It is now 2 o'clock and it's just pushing 97, 98 in the shop. So we're right at the hottest part of the day and it's only going to get hotter in the shop, and I don't think it's smart to be trying to spray epoxy in this temperature. So I think we're going to wait a little bit, maybe 4:30, 5, get back out here and try to get this sprayed, because I don't want to go to all this work and then have to rush around and fight the temperature and everything else. So I'll see you back in a few hours and hopefully we can get this knocked out. All right, guys, I had to give up on yesterday. It was 99 degrees in the shop at 5:30. It got warmer, not cooler. So yeah, it's the next morning. I don't know if you guys can see that over there. But there's a forest fire. It's not super close, but close enough, so we're really getting pounded by smoke every morning. But we got to keep working. All right, I'm going to get this thing tacked off, mix up some epoxy, and get the gun in my hand so we can get this knocked out. All right, guys, once again, we're using the Martin Senior TP570 Epoxy Primer, the high build. I use these unmarked cups here because none of my other cups have the ratio of 5:2:1, which is what this mix is at. So I just fill it up with like 500 milliliters of water, put a Sharpie, another 200 milliliters Sharpie, and then 100 milliliters, and just do that. If I want a half batch, I just go 250, all the way up. So it works out pretty good. You just chuck them when you're done. So we're all mixed up, ready to go. Let me get the gun loaded up, and we'll get the first coat down. All right, I got the fluid nozzle wide open and the fan pattern almost wide open. So we're going to lay down some good material here. I'm going to do this top spot right here so before I have to lean over any wet paint. I need to seal that up. I need to get some body filler on it. All right, let's get to it. I'm going to start with all the stuff I have to lean over to get to, just in case. All right, let's reload, do the other side. All right, guys, I got a second batch mixing up over there. We're gonna need it. I still have the trunk lid to spray, but I thought I'd take a quick look at it. Looks pretty good down there in the light. Pretty happy. We still got a ways to go. Still we got sand scratches. We're still gonna have some leveling to do and smoothing to do, but all in all, I think it's looking pretty good. Pretty happy with the progress so far. It's not, it doesn't look, if I can get that, that doesn't look puckery or wavy right there, so we're looking pretty good. All right, let me finish mixing that up and we'll get a second and even third coat on some of these spots because we're gonna need it to smooth them out. The deck lid is looking really good, guys. I think we're really close on that. I'm gonna put a coat around the edge because we were bumping it up. I'll put another coat around the edge, but I think we're looking good there. So over here, I've already double coated some spots. If you guys can tell, let me get the angle just right. So you can see the little dry spray right there. And then so I did the top here, I did right up there, did along the bottom. I got this area, remember we had a lot of work going on there. Double coated this area because I did some work, and up along there so I can get that smoothed out really nice. Up along here we had some work, and you can kind of see it because the body filler and everything else kind of absorbs it. And if you have bare steel showing, you can see that, how smooth it is. So you can kind of eyeball it, and I did take a picture. So I went over this lip again. I did the bottom where I did all that extra. So we're looking pretty good. The gun is actually reloaded right now. I'm waiting for the strainer to empty out. So I got the back side there. So all we have to do is just do a little bit over here, get some of this stuff, do around the trunk lid lip, and I think we're just about done for the day. All right, guys, we got our second and third coat on a few spots. The gun is clean, air is clear, and we're looking pretty good. So yeah, I'm glad to get all these repairs, get some extra primer on them, a little extra in a few others I'm pretty sure we're gonna need, and if we need more after we block it out again, that's what we'll do. Now, I had a few guys ask me about dry spray when I brought it up last time. Here's a good example of it. See on that door right there, and maybe get the angle. See that little square right there? I did not put a second coat in that area, but see how it's shiny on this side and this side? So that little fluffy area, that's dry spray. And that happens when the air carries a little bit at the edge of your spray pattern, and it floats through the air and it dries, then it sticks to the car partially dried. So you don't want to paint over that, guys. That's why I put a full coat over everything. Well, it needed it, but I put a full coat over everything, then I come back later and put my second or third coat. You know, it'd be easier if you could just, you know, spot spray all the bad spots where you know you need two coats and then cover everything up, but then you're spraying over dry spray. So if you're doing a panel, let's say you just had a repair right here, you want to spray a larger area, then come back your second coat and come in just a little bit. And even on your third coat, then you come in a little bit more. That way you're never painting over dry spray. Well, we're looking pretty good, guys. I'm pretty happy with the progress. We need to move forward to the front now. So that means I got to tackle that hood and get some hinges worked out and get those fenders and everything else going. But yeah, I think we're looking pretty good here. Spray it on, sand it off, spray it on, sand it off. That's my life these days, it feels like. But we're looking really good. I'm really happy with the progress we're making. A little disappointed some of the work I did previous, but we got it all sweetened up, so I think we're doing really well. And guys, if you start to get frustrated, you start thinking, oh, that's good enough, and you know, you're gonna regret it. So walk away for 2 or 3 days or a week. Come back to it, and I promise you, when you come back to it, you'll see it differently, and you'll be able to sweeten it up really nice, and it'll look perfect when you're done. Now, like I said, we're going to need to move forward off of this into the front end here. I'm not exactly sure what we need to do. I got some hinge work going on and a lot of other stuff, so stay tuned for that. Thanks for joining me here at Foothill Paint and Fabrication. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button if you haven't already. Mash that bell and drop me a comment. I'd love to hear from you. We'll see you on the next one.